morning and welcome to Pettis Communication Center here on Thiel College campus. I am joined by Coach Zack Walters. He is the Thiel men's soccer head coach. How are you today?
Good. It's a nice day out for once.
Yeah, it is. I'm excited. So we're just going to get right into it. I have a couple questions for you. Basically, kind of detailing your journey of soccer. I know you started young. Now you're the head coach at a Division III college. So what has been your favorite memory so far as a player or a coach, or you can give one as a player and as a coach?
It's a tough one. As a player, I was really fortunate to. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging, but I was on ESPN for a goal I had scored. It was in the PAC semis against Thomas More, and they were ranked in the country at that point at number 2, I believe. Scored, and it was kind of like a buzzer beater. And Kristen Press actually broke it down on Fox Sports, so it was a really cool moment. That kind of like, it was the big moment for me and my family. So that was cool. I mean, I think like as a player personally, it was like it was winning the conference, but yeah, I mean that was a neat little moment for me to kind of like get a lot of things out of that. But as a coach, I think winning the PAC, my first year as an assistant, was awesome. Obviously, I'm never gonna say like winning a conference wasn't like my top moment, but actually it had to do with you. One of my favorite moments as a coach was our first win. My first win as a head coach here. With a couple minutes left, you fell on top of the ball, and it was the first time in your career you were able to time waste. And to waste time at the end of a game. And I remember looking over at my assistant, and we just gave a big hug and smile at each other, and that was the coolest moment for me. I don't almost make me cry again, but that was the coolest moment for me.
Hey, I would agree with that. Like, yeah. It was cool to know that I wasn't going to go through a whole college career without a win.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that. What challenges have you faced so far as a coach, and I guess how have you overcome those to get where you are today?
I mean, I think like the cliched answer would be like my age. Like, I'm 26 now, so I'm not much older than some of the guys I coach. We always had a running joke that Kohei, he was older than me. He wasn't, but I think that would be like the cliched answer. But I think for me, really like having a big differentiation between my passion and necessarily like from the bench or like parents even watching, almost like an aggression, like because I'm a very passionate person, and you know that, and a lot of my players know that. I'm a very passionate person, and so when I coach, that comes out. And as a player, I was very passionate, and my heart's on my sleeve, like you can see everything. And so from an outside eye, that's gonna look at like, oh my gosh, this guy is gonna lose it, like he's gonna blow a gasket. But I'm really just passionate, and I truly love all my players, and I just want to be there for them, and be in the game. And it's hard being on the sideline and not being able to influence the game, especially playing in like the conference and playing against the teams. Like I could jump in and do it, but it's nice to like be able to have like help out. But that's been my biggest hurdle, and I wouldn't say I've overcome it, but I think like getting the players to understand like through building relationships that like you truly do care about them, and like anything that like I'm gonna say, I'm not typically yelling. It's more of just loudly saying something, and like for you hear it, it's like whoa. But just kind of building those relationships so that you understand like it's truly someone that cares, and like they can do it back to me for all I care. But that's probably been my biggest hurdle.
Yeah, I kind of switched a little bit from player to a coach. A little bit, as you know. I've kind of noticed that a little bit. It's different. It's a different perspective.
Yeah,
so
it's
as a player, I thought, especially when you first came in, I was like, dude's just yelling at us to yell. But then, like as it kind of went on, I got to know you better. It was kind of, he's not yelling to just yell. It was just loudly, and but I appreciated it.
Yeah, that's why I think the relationship comes in. Like if you don't have a relationship with someone, how are you gonna demand more out of them? But if you build a relationship, I can hold you to a standard, and that I'm just trying to get the best out of you, the same that I would expect you out of me. But that's why building a relationship is so important.
Transitioning a little bit, you said that you were an assistant you're a graduate assistant at Westminster, and now you're the head coach at Thiel, like we know. So how has being at Westminster and now being at Thiel, how's it kind of been different? I guess both. I guess you weren't leading a team at Westminster, but you were there. From now, you're leading a team.
I mean it's different. I'd say the biggest difference, including when I was like an assistant here, is like I may be running something or I may be influencing something, but I don't necessarily have the final say, and that's okay. But I'm like I'm a natural like leader. I typically go into a room and I'm like, okay, what do we need to do, and I'll do it. And I'm completely cool with kind of taking the back step and like kind of just helping things out. But I'd say that's the biggest thing was like being at Westminster. I was able to, help out and look into trainings and stuff. But if there's not good communication between the coaching staff, it's hard to understand why a decision is made or why this is happening. Now, there were some moments that you can communicate, like, for instance, the PAC championship. It was really easy for us to just sit there and say, like, this is what I see, this is what you see, let's talk it out. But if there's not communication between the coaching staff, and that goes down to the players as well, then it's really hard to sit there and know, like, well, I saw this guy really improve. I think he can make a difference here, and not understand why he's not getting a chance. So that's been a big difference getting into the head coach now is now I can make those decisions. And also I need to take input from other people to understand what maybe I'm not seeing. And I'm cool with that. But it's definitely, it's nice to be able to have other people to kind of talk into my ear, to see something together, and kind of have a common goal. So
we're going to transition again. We kind of talked about your history as a coach, kind of where you started, where you are now. But now I kind of want to know where your ultimate goal is. Where do you ultimately want to end up in the coaching world? Whether it's like Division One, Division One school, whether it's overseas in England or France. Just kind of, I want to get your perspective and kind of want to know what you want to achieve as a coach.
It's a tough one. I don't know. I don't know if I really think that far, in all honesty. I don't really set out like super high arching goals because I just try to go like day by day. But I mean, obviously, like being a pro coach would be awesome. I don't think I want to go Division One or Division Two. I really like the Division Three model. Really building up a student athlete, especially at a liberal arts institution, where you can build them up as a whole person and fully encompass. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought of it. I kind of take it stride and stride. If I'm at Thiel for 25 years and we end up winning a lot, great. If I end up at a D3 somewhere where my girlfriend and I move out to and we get a job, great. Now, my sister lives in Wilmington, North Carolina. I would love the weather there. If she can get me a head coaching job, I'm not going to turn it down. But no, I love it here, and I think that's really what's been my focus. I think like whenever you set high goals out in the future, there's two things that can happen. You can achieve them, or you can never achieve them and always feel like a failure. So if you just set small intermediate goals and start building them up, and if you keep achieving those, you're going to constantly feel like a success and build up your confidence. So that's what I try to do.
I like that.
Thank you.
I might start living by that. I'm not going to lie. So this last thing I have for you is kind of just basically for you to talk about the program. So I guess, is there anything that you want people to know about the current outlook for the men's soccer program and what your outlook is going into the fall? I guess spring, but mainly the fall next year.
I mean, I think it's different. Like, it's like basically asking for my recruiting time. So looking into the future, I'm really excited. I think we have a lot of guys that can really make a big difference, older and younger. A lot of guys coming into their own, not just as players, but as young men. And I think the more people grow in stature as a young man and more articulate and confident, you're going to see it on the field. And that's what we're getting, is we're getting people that are getting a lot more confident. They're doing a lot of really good things on campus, like people like yourself. and some other guys are getting involved on campus. I just had a freshman come to my office the other day telling me he got into Lambda Sigma, and I was like, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
You know, that seeing that for me and knowing that confidence takes onto the field, I'm excited.
Well, thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to sit down with me. And granted, I know a lot of this stuff, but there were some that I didn't. Like I didn't know Kristen Press broke down that goal. That's
I'll
very
send
cool.
you the video.
I didn't know about that. But again, thank you for sitting down. Thank you everyone for listening. Coach Zack Walters, I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the season. Well, I guess in the fall and the spring, but the spring game. But good luck in the fall, and I look forward to being on your staff.
Yeah, definitely.